idea of how JobPack operates, I'm going to start by setting up the system, and you should be able to see on your screen a large JobPack logo. So there are two elements that I'm going to go through this afternoon, or this morning rather. One of them is the actual scheduling side of things with the work order side, so you can see how we import data. And then I'm going to go to the shop floor side of things and show you how operators and work center supervisors can enter data and see what work they have to do. So I'm going to start off by going to the scheduling system, and when it does that, I'm going to go over to the planning board. So this is the JobPack planning board. Most people tend to remember our product because of this particular feature, and it's based on that traditional whiteboard that engineers have been using for years, but now it's computerized, it's real time, and it's graphical. So just to spend a couple of minutes to explain what you're actually looking at, if I just highlight some features here. First of all the work centers or machinery is listed down the left-hand side. I'm looking at 6 work centers. It's just convenient for me doing this demonstration to look at 6, but I can look at more, I can look at less, and of course I can scroll down and I can look at all the equipment that I've got on the shop floor, whether it's people, departments, or individual pieces of equipment. In terms of time, we're looking from left to right, and we're here today on June 12th, and I'm looking out until July 31st, which is a 50-day window. Again, that's just convenient for me, and I can look out 365 days, 1 year out into the future, or I can look at any period of time in between. The colored blocks that you see my mouse moving across right now are the work orders and operations that are scheduled for each of these machines. And if you look where my mouse is now, in this rectangle, as I move my mouse across these jobs, you can see the work order number, part number, description. And if you need to see more information, this panel normally sits by the side of the system on another monitor, and as I move my mouse over these particular jobs, you get to see all of the information with regard to specific individual operations in terms of the part number, quantity, who the customer is, customer's purchase order number, just about anything that you need. And if you look down here, where my mouse is at the moment, if I move my mouse across, you can actually see how much time has been spent on a specific job or operation. So you've got a complete kind of layout of all the work here that's on the shop floor. There isn't anything specific in the color for each job. It's there just to differentiate between the various jobs that are on the shop floor. As an example, here you can see there's a small job which is going to take about an hour, as opposed to here I've got a job which is going to take over 3 days. So you can see the size of each particular operation when it starts and when it finishes. For this demonstration, I've set the system up so that we're working 5 days a week. So we work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's no working weekends, so Saturdays and Sundays have no capacity, and subsequently JobPack doesn't try and put any work on those weekend periods. The 8 hours that we've put into the system starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. So where my mouse is right now is 8 o'clock in the morning. This blue tag mark is midday. I'm on the East Coast, so this is 1 o'clock, and obviously this is 4 o'clock at the top here, where we all go home at the end of the afternoon. And everything is moving in real time, so you can see we're here at 1 o'clock. If I keep talking for an hour, when we come back to the planning board, you'll see everything will have moved up, and we've moved up 1 hour further on, and all these jobs will have moved back 1 hour. So that gives you a general layout of the scheduling planning board, and because it's a graphical finite scheduler, it means we can pick a job up whenever we want, and we can move it up in the schedule, we can move it back in the schedule, we can put it to another piece of equipment, we can pretty much move anything around in a graphical sense just by picking it up and dragging and dropping. So it gives you a snapshot of the planning board, if I want to schedule the work that's on the shop floor, if I hit the scheduling icon, you can see the scheduling dialog, and I can schedule by delivery date. I can schedule pass-through to minimize the work in progress. I can schedule just in time, or I can schedule on priorities. Most people choose delivery dates because they're unambiguous. If a job is due out on the 1st of July, there is only one 1st of July. There's not a priority about it. It's either there or it isn't. So I'm going to use the option to schedule by delivery date. I also have the ability to lock down the schedule. So if I want everything to be sort of fixed and firm for the next 12 days, nothing to move, I can lock it down. And at the same time, I can select that we're only going to schedule new operations. So any work that's on the shop floor and is scheduled will stay exactly where it is. Alternatively, I can just say go ahead and schedule all the work. So if I schedule the work, what happens is the system reads in all of the work orders in the system and all of the new work orders or manufacturing orders that have been entered into mass, and it reads them into job pack. So the system reads the work in, reads the routings, and it's going to take me over to a page which kind of looks like an Excel spreadsheet. And what this is a listing of all the work orders that are on the shop floor with their delivery dates. So I've asked for this to be listed by its work order. You can see all of the work orders listed here with part numbers, descriptions, quantities that we're going to make. This is the important thing for us in terms of being a scheduler. Here's the delivery date that's been requested by the mass system, and here's the actual delivery date that's available to us according to the job pack scheduler, which is running on finite capacity and really knows that we're working 5 days a week and 8 hours a day. So if any of the work orders are late, they show up in a different color from the deviation which has got 0 on it. So if you see 0 in blue, you know that everything's great, everything is on time. So here you can see I've got a job I've set up as an example. We're going to use this to track through the shop floor in a moment, and it's called the ERP VAR 999 part. We're making 50. We want it on July the 24th according to mass. System says, well, you're going to get it on the 24th, so our customer, Rolls-Royce Aerospace, is going to be happy. And if you look down through all the jobs on the shop floor, there's a lot of blue and a lot of zeros. But as soon as the job is going to be late, we highlight that deviation column in a yellow, and we put the number of days late on the top right-hand corner. So the planning engineer, production manager, or scheduler can immediately see any job that's going to be late and take some remedial action. As soon as the job goes more than 5 days late, it turns red. So here you can see as an example, we've got a job which is 6 days late. Our customer Boeing needs this job on July 26th. Job pack says you're not going to get it until August the 1st. It's 6 days late. Obviously something's gone wrong. We've taken longer than we should have on a specific operation. The nice thing to remember is that we're sitting here today and it's June 12th. So all of a sudden we've got over 2 months, or nearly 2 months, heads up warning to see that this job is going to be late, and we can do something about it, like work extra hours, put it on a different piece of equipment, or even send it out to another manufacturer to get work done. So it's easy to see any jobs that are going to be late. If I use this job as an example for how we can expedite jobs, if our customer wants to expedite this particular job, which has got this part number ERP VAR, if I double click on this, the system takes me back to the planning board, and you can see that particular job highlighted in white. And if I blind out all the other work, you can see precisely where this job is. It's here on this piece of equipment starting on the 18th, works all day on the 19th and completes on Friday 20th. Then it moves to this machine, it's outside for some external work, then it comes back in on this machine, and then it finally finishes on inspection here. So if I want to expedite this job, I can simply pick a hold of an operation, and I'm going to move it right to the front. So I'm going to make it the very next job on this particular machine. and of course I can pick and place any other of the operations that are there. Alternatively, I can pick hold of the last operation and I can move that, and it will move every other operation in front of it. So now we've kind of moved all of these operations up, so I've expedited this particular job. And because we're a finite scheduler, which understands we're working 5 days a week and 8 hours a day, if I've moved this job in to get a better delivery date, other jobs must have been moved out. So if I go back to this tab and we look at this particular job that I've been expediting, our customer's going to be really happy. We've moved it in 20 days. It's going to be 20 days early, which is wonderful. But the consequence of moving this job in is now shown with these red arrows. So the scheduler or the planning engineer is able to see the effect, and a pretty negative effect as well, on all the work on the shop floor because I've expedited this particular job. At the same time, a couple of other things that we can do. If I look at this on the planning board, if I move out in time, you can see, for example, that inspection has got a lot of work and we're booked up on this department until the 20th of August. So I explained that we're working 5 days a week and 8 hours a day. So if I want to improve or increase the capacity, let's say from Monday the 7th of July, and we'll go out to Friday the 1st of August, I can just plug in some extra hours here. So now I can say, okay, instead of working 8 hours a day, we're going to work 12 hours a day. We'll work that additional shift. So immediately job pack puts in as additional capacity, and it moves up all the work to improve and to fill all the capacity that's now available. So I can do that on that machine, and I can also do it on inspection. All the other equipment is still working its normal 8-hour days. So if I go back here, now you can see there's an awful lot of green arrows that have come in because we've created that additional capacity. So job pack can take advantage of that, move all the jobs up into that additional capacity that's been created, and turn everything green, making it deliverable early. So we've expedited the job for our customer, moved it up in the schedule. We've added in additional hours to work additional capacity, and here are the results and all the delivery days. And if this is acceptable, we can say save, and we've got a brand new schedule. However, if the consequence of moving this job up is still detrimental with a couple of jobs, and the additional cost of working those shifts is too much, then we can simply hit cancel, read in, and everything will go back to where it was before I moved anything around. So we've got a nice feature here where, for those typical Monday morning production meetings, everyone can sit and look at the real time and the real delivery dates for each job. You have the ability, if you want, to actually manipulate and expedite jobs and then see the consequences here, save it or cancel out and just do some what-if scenarios. So that's a quick overview of the scheduling side of things. All I'm going to do is take your particular job and I'm going to expedite it to the next job on this particular machine. So if you notice where my mouse is, this says in this rectangle here, work order 1000. It's the ERP VAR webinar job, and it's the next one on the Mazak. So what I'm going to do now is go to the work order side to show you how work orders are entered into the system, and then we'll move to the shop floor so you can see what the operator on this machine would see when he logs onto the system. So I'm going to leave here, and I'm going to go to the work order side. So the work order side is where we read information in to job pack from the mass system. Here is this sample job that I've set up with the part number ERP VAR 999. If I click on the information, you can see that this particular job has got 5 operations. It goes on this machine. If you look across to the right and follow my mouse, you can see that we plan to make 50. That's what we pulled in from the mass system. The setup time's an hour, the work time each is 15 minutes, so there's a total time for this operation of 850 minutes. So for each particular operation, we've got a setup and a work time, and there is some significance to these colors. The fact that all of these operations that you see denoted with these folders are red shows me that nothing has been started on this job. And if I show you a similar job, it has been started. You can see now by the color of the folders the status of the job. So if the operation folder is green, it means it's been completed. If it's blue, it means it hasn't started. It means, it's actually in progress right now. And if it's red, then it hasn't started. So just by looking at this graphic, if I click on this last operation, and again you follow my mouse across to the right, you can see that this operation is going to be finished on June the 16th. So by looking at this graphic, you can see that the first two operations are complete. The job is now actually outside in external work for heat treatment and stress relieving. When it comes back in, it goes to the grind, and it's going to be completed on the 16th. Because we capture the time on the operations as they move around the shop floor, if I click on any of these finished operations, if you follow my mouse again, you can see that we planned to do 25. The operator actually did do 25. Here was our estimated time that we read in from the math system, and here's the actual time that the operator took. So we're actually able to compare the actual time for each operation with the estimated time that we pull from the ERP system. And this has two big benefits, of course. It means that the scheduling system is kept in sync in real time all of the time, and it means that as the job moves around the shop floor, we can provide this information so that you can see whether you're making the time that you should be on each particular operation. So what I'm going to do now is just leave here for a second, and I'm going to show you what our real-time status dashboards look like. And the dashboards are designed to provide supervisors and managers with a view of what's really going on out on the shop floor right now. And the real-time dashboard comes in two flavors. What you're looking at now is what a supervisor would look like on his desk. So I'm able to see the name of the piece of machinery and what it's doing. So this is the part number, this is the work order number, and here's the person that's working on the job. And you can see that Mazak number 1 is doing nothing. Mazak number 2 is being operated by Mike Fowler. He's working on this work order number, this part number. Mazak number 3 is flashing red because Bill Montour is working on work order 1009, and he's now actually taking longer to do this operation that was planned. So from supervisors and managers' standpoints, they're able to see who's on what machine and if they're within the estimated time limits. And as well as looking at it through this view, if I show you a photograph of what this actually looks like in one of our customers' shops, here we've got some large LCD screens. They're out on the shop floor, and you can see each piece of equipment, and you can see whether it's got work in progress, whether it's making its time, or whether there's a problem. So we can display this information in real time out on the shop floor on these large displays, or we can break it down so that it displays like this for the supervisors or management. So what I did earlier, I set up a small manufacturing cell just to demonstrate that we capture information in real time. And this small manufacturing cell has got 4 pieces of equipment in it. There's Mazak number 1, which is doing nothing. Mazak number 2, which is working happily away with Mike Fowler. Bill Montour's got a problem on this machine, so really someone needs to go over there and see what's going on. And the assembly station is being operated by Tony Nichols, and that work is okay because it's well within the time limit. So if you just bear in mind that Mazak number 1 is doing nothing at the moment, if I go to our shop floor interface, and this is what our software looks like to the operator on the shop floor. It's designed with big buttons. Everything is simply point and click. He doesn't have to use a keyboard, doesn't have to type anything in, doesn't have to use a barcode. Everything is available real time. So if the operator for Mazak number 1 wants to see what he's got to do, all I've got to do is to click on the machine, and now I'm looking at an active work list. And if you remember a couple of minutes ago, I expedited the work order 1000, which is called ERP VAR 999, and I moved it right to the front of the queue. So the operator for the Mazak machine sees his own individual work queue, and this is updated in real time. So simply for the operator, if he wants to log into a job, is he puts in his employee number and clicks on Start. And now JobPack has captured that data. If I go back to the manufacturing cell, you can see Mazak number 1 is now working on a job called ERP VAR 999. It's work order 1000, and David Welsh is working on it. And we're now capturing the time on that work order, that operation, that person, that machine. The nice thing about this particular interface, which is designed for operator use, is you saw me actually kind of simulate walking across to a shop floor PC and clocking on the job. But that interface is also available on a mobile tablet, so supervisors can clock on and clock off of jobs for their employees if they want. And alternatively, and this is becoming more and more the trend now, is what we call bring your own device. So if operators have got a cell phone or any other tablet device that they use, if you give them access to the company network, they can get their active work list directly on their iPhone. They can see what jobs they're supposed to do, and they can start and stop those jobs. So in terms of an overview for the system, that's pretty much me finished. The only thing that I should really end up on and bring to your attention, if I just close all this down and I'll go back to the scheduling side of things, if we now look at the planning board, we'll see now that it reads in all the current work again. And if I use your particular job as an example, and I'll kind of zoom right in here so you can get a better look at it and get an understanding of what's actually taking place. If you notice, as I move my mouse across your particular job, it turns to like a no entry sign. And that's the system telling me that I can't move this job. I can move the job behind it, and all the other jobs are still available to be moved around. But this job is now on this machine, and I can't move it. When I got on the system and we started at 1 o'clock, that's where my mouse is. I've been talking for nearly 30 minutes now, so it's probably time for me to be quiet. But you can see now that time has moved along, and we're now half an hour further on. And because I'm actually clocked on this job and someone's working on this job on this machine, this block of time that you see my mouse moving over now is going to get smaller in real time as time occurs. On Monday morning, when we start this job at 8 o'clock and we get to the point where it should finish, if we don't finish it, it won't disappear, it'll still be there, but it will then start pushing all this other work back because it's taken longer than was estimated. So as long as the operator clocks on and clocks off of the jobs, we're able to keep everything in sync here with all these real times for the delivery dates right across the entire enterprise. So that's my my overview on the JobPack scheduling system. Adrian, I'm going to pass this back to you if that's okay.
Thank you, David, for the presentation. I do have a couple polls I'd like to ask the audience, and we do have some questions, so I'm going to announce this in 1 second. If I could just ask the audience to answer this question, are you interested in learning more? And David, how many installs of this solution do you have?
Across North America, we've got about 300 installations. Worldwide, we've got nearly 800, the majority being in Germany.
Okay. And what is primarily, which ERP system? It looks as if it's ERP agnostic. Do you have a core competency in ERP, or?
With the module that we use to plug our system into ERP systems is designed as an open piece of equipment. and basically there is no real favorite in terms of ERP solutions. It just turns out, and I think it's by good luck rather than planning, that the majority of systems we've got in the United States at any rate are MAS 90, MAS 100 systems and SAP. And I know there's a big disparity between the two, but that just turns out the way it is. But basically we can plug into pretty much any ERP system as long as it's running on some standard industry compliant database.
And I did launch another poll. Do you currently have manufacturing clients who may benefit from this solution? So if the audience could take a second to answer that question. And David, how does the system, what's the cost of the system? How is it priced out?
Well, the price is a difficult number to throw out there because it's as long as a piece of string. But the base system, we're probably looking at around about $10,000, and then depending on the options that the customer wants and how much information you want us to pull from the ERP system, in a very simplified way we can pull over the work order number, the part number, the quantity required and the delivery date, then we can add all the routings. Alternatively, if the customer wants us to pull across all of that header information along with the routings and all the material delivery dates, and it's a complete assembly, then obviously it's going to be significantly more expensive.
Do you have a partner program with this solution?
Yes, we do. We operate in two modes. We operate direct. We have our own direct sales force, but we do have a partner program that we work with ERP vendors. And that partner program comes in three flavors. It can be just a referral basis, and we provide 11% finder's fee if we secure the business. It's also, if you want to take on the sale, then we provide a 25% commission. And if you want to take on the sale plus do all of the training, then the training, the installation is really yours, and we're just providing the software at a discount.
So perfect. Okay, well, I don't see any other questions. Would you, David, did you have any other closing remarks you'd like to make?
Well, my only closing remarks is that we have a good solution that's proven, it's off the shelf, we can deliver it and implement it in short order for Sage and mass users. And if people are interested in looking at this in more detail or introducing us to their particular customers where they could get benefit from this, if they contact me directly, I'm happy to work with anyone to get a final closing and get a good solution to the customer.
And David, do you have a contact slide that you might be able to show, or maybe just announce your phone number?
Sure. My telephone number is area code 630-253-6310. Our website, jobpack.com, J-O-B-P-A-C-K, and all the contact information is there. And of course, you can get us at info@jobpack.com.
And I will also be sending a follow-up email to everybody with David's contact information and the recording of the presentation. We really appreciate you taking time out today to spend with us and learn a little bit more about JobPack. And thank you so much. And David, will you be at Sage Summit?
We won't be, no. There's an exhibition this year, if anyone's interested in looking at it. It's called IMTS. It's every 2 years. It's in Chicago. It's the biggest manufacturing show in North America, maybe even the world, but for sure North America. And that runs from September the 11th until the 18th. So we'll be at that show. And again, maybe, Adrian, I'll send you details of that, and you can pass or forward that on to your clients if they want to come and look us up at the IMTS show. I'd be happy to see them all.
Perfect. And maybe if you can get me some collateral on that, I will include it in the follow-up email just so that everybody can browse through that as well.
No problem.
All right. Well, thank you so much, David. I really appreciate it. And audience, for taking time out. Let us know if you have any questions, and we will see you on the next webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you.